First thing you do is turn that machine so you can have the tracks perpendicular to the door. That way you can stand here and work on it. Let's get that floorboard out of it. You can take it apart with the floorboard in it, and you can get that cover off right there. But when you go to put it back together, that floorboard sticks up high enough that it's going to hinder you to try to get it back together. And what happens is the wires are close to that tab right here. So when you try to put it back together, that tab will end up pulling them wires off of that resistor. So to make a clean install, just take the floorboard out of it. This is what the cover looks like. It's got these little tabs down in there with little males that go up through those slots. And these little male ends pop in, these little clips. Just gently pry out on these, and it kind of fits around the edge. You got to work it out of there, but you can get it out. That's the resistor right there, the new one. Testing it out to see if it fixes my problem. I didn't have any blower fan on this. There's 2 bolts under this. Take that cup holder out. There's 2 bolts down in there, 13 millimeters. Take this vent off. There's a bolt inside of there you need to get off. I'll get those 3 bolts out, and then that'll loosen that up to get to the bolts for the resistor. Once you get them 3 bolts out, there's a plate down in here that goes around the blower hole. I can't see it, but you gotta line that plate back up with the 3 holes, and it goes around the hole of the blower. You can see this duct right here. You gotta pull it forward, and you can lift it. And you can lift this thing out. Once you get it up, I'll put a block of wood in there to hold it up. Them wires right there come from the outside, and they go up through that opening around the fan blower. But there's 4 bolts that hold that fan motor in right there. They're Allen's or Torx bits. We'll have to get those out next. Let me get a block of wood in it. So you get that Torx bit out. I think it's a T20 or T25. The one I have is rusty, so I can't tell you exactly what it is, but you take these first 3 bolts out. This front one here, leave the back one in, then you can pivot the blower motor right around. Then you can get to these Phillips heads for the resistor. Pretty simple to get it out, really. It's not too bad. Watch you don't hit that condenser right there, evaporator, whatever it is. There, the old resistor's out. If you look at the way this thing's designed, there's an opening around the blower, around the motor housing. It actually pulls air around this entire unit. It's actually the cooling device for it, because this thing gets hotter than fuck. So gotta have that air blowing around it. That's why you can't just take it off and lay it down in there. It'll just burn up. You gotta have the air from the blower fan moving around it to keep the resistor cool, or it won't last very long. This is actually a 2017 machine, so it didn't last very long anyway. So gotta put it back on the way it goes. Give it a little bit of a chance to stay cool. So once you get that rolled back in, and then 3 Torx bolts back in, don't get your wires crossed around on that thing. Otherwise you'll have to figure them back out to get it right, but you should have all your blower speeds. Awesome. Did end up hitting that thing a little bit. Try not to do that. Go back in reverse, make sure you get that plate lined up inside of there, and get them bolts put back in, and put the cup holder back in and that vent, and put that cover back down in there, and you're good to go. If you're in a pinch and you don't have anything out of this and you need the blower to work, you can make a jumper with 2 male ends on it, and jump the red wire to this first wire right here, and you'll have high speed only. And really, when I pulled this thing apart, it's probably a good idea because this thing was getting so hot it was smoking. So that's what made me want to make the jumper, just to eliminate that resistor altogether until you can get the resistor put in it. At least you'll have your air conditioner working. So when you put the 3 bolts back in with that metal plate in there, put your piece of cardboard over that blower motor, so if you drop a bolt, it don't go down in there. Otherwise you'll be fishing that bolt out, and it's no fun. So put that over there, and then you have to wiggle that thing around and get everything lined up for it to all go together. You wiggle it around and push down on the bolt as you hold your hand up through here. You'll be able to get it lined up. Line that bolt up right there first, and then come up and do these last 2. So this is a resistor for this 35i. It probably fits other models, but put your serial number into the Bobcat website and it'll bring up what you need. I'm sure it works on plenty of these different models and different sizes.